So for this class, start with a Bitcoin and kind of a Solana 101 session and then go into setting up a Phantom wallet. So today we're going to start with setting up a wallet.
You can access it from home.
Yes, yeah, and I'll show you how to do that too. But I just want to make sure that most people are going to be using their computer because it might be easier just to follow along.
What is a Phantom wallet?
That's a perfect question. So your wallet and exchanges when it comes to crypto. Think of like your exchange as like your bank meets a Forex currency exchange rate, except instead of foreign currency, it's crypto. So you can exchange on Coinbase. If I have Solana and I want to turn it into Ethereum, I can do that on Coinbase. Whereas wallets are more so meant for storing your crypto. The reason being is because they're decentralized. I own my wallet. With my Phantom wallet, I had the keys to it. Well, with Phantom wallet, you own your keys, you own your crypto. With Coinbase, just like a bank, in theory, they own it. I know it's your money you're giving to them, but with crypto, they don't have as many, there's no FDIC, so there's not as many regulations to keep your money safe on these exchanges like in a bank, which is why a lot of people trust or don't trust the exchanges as much as having like on a wallet where it's yours. And so Phantom is a hot wallet versus a cold wallet. So cold wallets are not connected to the internet. Ledger's an important one. Yep. The Ledger, that is a cold wallet. That is not connected to the internet. So that is completely offline, whereas the hot wallet is connected to the internet. It's a little bit easier to use because it's connected to the internet, but it could be susceptible to hacks and other stuff like that, whereas your cold wallet's like having cash in your cushion or in your sofa. So step one, everyone just needs to go to phantom.app/download if you're on your computer. If you're on your phone, you just go to the App Store. Also, you just Google Phantom Wallet, and the first thing that comes up will be the correct site. So I'm using Chrome, so I'm gonna click Chrome. So I just click download, and I'm just gonna say add to Chrome. And this is adding an extension to Chrome. If any of you have used extensions before, it's the same exact deal. Just like for you who've used apps before, downloading your Phantom app is just as easy as downloading. So I'm gonna add the extension, and this will just take 1 second, or at least it should. And then there it is. So now I have Phantom. So everyone else has this screen up where it shows create a new wallet. So that's what you're gonna do. And here's the big thing. I know we all trust each other, but we're gonna be getting to this part where there's gonna be a seed phrase up. This seed phrase is 12 random words. This seed phrase is going to be the most important thing for you when it comes to crypto. That's why you all have a Shield Folio Stone book. Once we get to the seed phrase part, I'll show you how it all works. I'm not going to show you my seed phrase, obviously, but you're going to be putting your seed phrase into the Shield Folio Stone book. The reason being is because a lot of people that when they first get into crypto, they'll put it onto they'll screenshot it, they'll put it on their phone under notes or whatever. This can be hacked. And if you have a lot of money on your wallet and you get this hack, you get your seed phrase hacked, you're gonna lose you could lose all your money. They could easily steal it. Some people write it down on a piece of paper. The founder actually had a whole bunch of Bitcoin on one of his wallets. He wrote it down, the seed phrase, on like some scrap piece of paper, and his wife threw it away. And it's not like I can call up Chase Bank and be like, hey, I forgot my password or whatever. With crypto, it's not the same. Do not lose your seed phrase. Make sure to store it onto something secure like a Shield Folio Stone book. If you drop, once again, if you drop this into water, fire, to a certain extent, obviously you drop it into a volcano, that's not gonna be safe. But for the most part, your seed phrase will be safe from wear, tear, and all that on here, and safe from being hacked, like your phone could be. For those who don't use crypto, maybe won't be using crypto in the future, you can still use these stone books. Because in the beginning, you can see right here in the front, there's a part for username, for passwords, for 2FA. So for those of you who have passwords for your Chase Bank or for YouTube, whatever, you can still use these for that. It doesn't have to be used for crypto. I'm not gonna actually ever use this wallet, so I'm just gonna make some random, it's not like seed phrase where you're kind of out of luck. So this is the recovery phrase. As you can see, if you put your mouse away from it, it'll hide it. Once again, I'm not gonna this is a wallet I'm gonna trash as soon as we're done with this. So you can look at the seed phrase. You might not even be able to see it with the quality of the screen, but the point being is that don't show anyone else here. Like, I'm not gonna show my brother, my mom, my best friend. I'm not showing any, like, it's not something you wanna give out. Just write your seed phrase in your Shield Folio Stone book. You'll see that there is space for all 12 of the words. I see a lot of you are already writing it down. And once again, this is really important. You keep them safe, keep them in order as well. So you see how I said 1 through 12? You don't wanna just remember all 12 of these randomly. You need to know them in order. I can't memorize anything. So Austin was saying how he writes down every word except for the last word. If you go to shieldfolio.com, they have this Shield Crypt. It's like a special code that you can kind of make up, basically like a way to have a code that will put all your information in here in a way that you'll understand. But like they match up like letters to numbers, and so you put it in, no one else will know what it is. So even if someone takes your stone book, they won't be able to know because you did the Shield Crypt. That's totally up to you how you want to do it. We also have a ghost pen. I have 2 of them that I got from Stoney, the guy who founded this company. Once again, that is a ghost pen. You can write down your stuff in there, and no one can see it unless you use the blue light. I saved my secret recovery phrase and press continue, and that is it. It's as simple as that. Now you have a crypto wallet. So you're gonna go up to your extensions right here and just click that, and then click Phantom. And then you're gonna put in that password that you put in earlier. Mine is just password 1. And now it'll give you a whole disclaimer and all that kind of stuff. You can click understood. And now you have your Phantom wallet here on the side. So as you can see here, this is gonna be your wallet, this is your interface. In order for y'all to accept the crypto, what you're gonna need to do is, as you can see here, we have receive, send, swap, and buy. So for receiving crypto, you're just gonna click the receive button right here, the button right there. And you can see there's 4 different options. You have Solana, you have Ethereum, Polygon, and Bitcoin. If I was to be sending you Ethereum, you would send me your Ethereum address. But because I'm sending you Solana, you need to send me your Solana address. Just like if I was to send you like US dollars, I want to make sure that you have a bank or whatever that accepts US dollars. I'm not going to send Canadian dollars to someone who doesn't have a bank that accepts it. Same deal with Solana, Ethereum, Polygon. These are all different ecosystems, all different currencies. They all have their own different rules and all that kind of stuff, and that's why they're all separate. So if I'm sending Nikki Solana, she's going to send me the Solana address. The way to do that is you just click these 2 little squares right here, and that will copy it. And then you can just either, however you want to send it. This is your public address. So this is not like your seed phrase, your password. This is a public address. I can copy and paste it to all of you. Seed phrase is not, like if someone says, hey, I want to send you 1,000,000 Bitcoin, what's your seed phrase? Don't do it. They're trying to scam you. They're not going to send you the Bitcoin. They're going to take all the money out of your wallet because you just gave them the password and the keys to your wallet. I'm going to just start by talking about the first ever cryptocurrency, which is going to be Bitcoin. It's the first ever crypto. It's the grandfather of crypto. I'm going to be, first of all, talking about the why and the who being Satoshi Nakamoto. Satoshi is not this person's name. We don't know if it's a person or an entity. It's just an anonymous name for whoever invented Bitcoin. We don't know who it is, or if it's a group or whatever. It could be Elon Musk, it could be the Backstreet Boys. We don't know. That's the who. The when explains the why. So 2009 is when Bitcoin was created. The whole financial crisis happened, which really showed at least Satoshi, or whoever Satoshi is, that there is a fault in the current system, whether it's the banking system, financial system, whatever it is. And so he, motivated by this, created this anonymous, transparent, and decentralized digital currency, which is the what. And so transparent just means that all the transactions are recorded on the public, meaning like if I send Bitcoin to Pookie and Pookie sends some to Nikki, whatever, like Austin could find all the transactions. It's not secret. Like if I send money to Pookie on Zelle, Austin won't know about it. But on Bitcoin, it's all public. And the ledger, which is basically the database, as well as the code, which is the rules, are all public. So everything is public. There's no like person who, oh, I know more than somebody else, or I have some like information that no one else does. Everything's public, which is why it's transparent. It's also anonymous. So if I was to send, with this Phantom wallet, we all set one up. Now you all have a wallet. And the one thing we didn't do was give Phantom any information. Did you put your name, your address, social security? No, it's anonymous. And so if I send money from my Phantom wallet to Pookie's or to Austin, no one will know that it's me. They'll know that there was money being sent from point A to point B, but they don't know who it is unless I somehow make it public that, oh, look, this is my NFT or whatever, and then people can go on the blockchain and say, oh, well, he owns that, that must be his. But if I don't make it obvious, no one's gonna know where who I'm sending my money to, or if I'm sending money, which makes it anonymous. It's also decentralized, which means the control is spread out across a network of users. Once again, it's open source, and it has a distributed ledger, meaning everything's public, like we just talked about before. There's no central authority, there's no like bank or government. Bitcoin works based off a predefined code because there's no people involved to mess up the system. It's also permissionless participation. Anyone can use Bitcoin as long as you have internet access and a phone or a way to get onto the internet. And there's also incentives. So instead of like people in the bank, it's their job. They make money, they do all this stuff because it's their job. With Bitcoin, it's the people who are using Bitcoin, the people who are a part of Bitcoin are the ones who are getting rewarded through Bitcoin or with Bitcoin. That works first. This is going to be kind of the how, which is Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. It's the Bitcoin white paper. So a white paper in cryptocurrency is basically like a financial business plan. So when they come out, they're like, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is the risk factors, the opportunities. This is why we're doing it. This is how we're going to do it. Basically, we want people to put money into this. People need to know what they're putting their money into. And so Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system, is the white paper, the name of the Bitcoin white paper. There are 2 quotes in particular here I want to go over. The first one is, we have proposed a system for electronic transactions without relying on trust. The root of the trust problem is not the technology, but the people. The way that Bitcoin works is off of a code. There's no, once again, there's no central authority, there's no people involved in the system that could corrupt the system. And after 2008, Satoshi, or whoever Satoshi is, realized that, oh, well, the system is not the problem, it's not the technology. The system would work if not for the people who are trying to line their pockets with corruption. There is no corruption in Bitcoin in that sense because it's not run by people, it's run by a system. And the next quote is, if enough people run nodes, Bitcoin's financial system will be much faster than the world's current system of international money transfers. nodes and just users is what makes Bitcoin run. If no one uses Bitcoin, it's not going to work. And so the people or the entities that are involved in Bitcoin are the users, the people like us, the buyers, the sellers. If I go buy a hot dog with Bitcoin, I'm a user. There's also farmers. Those are the people who are lending and borrowing. And then there's also the miners. They solve complex puzzles to add new blocks to the blockchain. We'll talk about how that works in a second. And then there are nodes. They basically are like the security of Bitcoin. And when I say miners and nodes, these aren't people like with mines. These are computers that people own. And so these miners are these humongous computers, not like big in size, but very, very, very complex computers, really high processing power and all that. Same with nodes. These are computers that people run. And they download and store the entirety of the blockchain, the whole, like the code, the rules, all that. They basically know everything there is to know at Bitcoin, all the transactions. They're the ones that, once again, the security, they verify what the miners are doing. So, and I'll talk about that in a second. The miners make the blocks. They do that part. The nodes are the ones who are basically saying, yep, that's good, that's right. It is important to realize that the miners get rewards through Bitcoin, whereas the nodes do not. I live in DC. My girlfriend, Anna, her mother is doing very well for herself. And she does a lot of charity work, not like going out and doing charity, but she donates to all these different historical like foundations, whatever, in DC, because she just loves history. Her family's a part of history. And it's not something that she's doing because she works for them or this or whatever. She's doing it because it's like philanthropy or whatever. These nodes, that's the same deal. They're not getting paid and they don't get any rewards. The miners get the rewards. The nodes are doing it because if enough people run nodes, Bitcoin works. And so these people just like Bitcoin. Maybe they have a lot of Bitcoin. So it's good for them for Bitcoin to run, whether it's because they have a substantial stake of Bitcoin. For them, Bitcoin doing well means more money for them, or just they like it. Like my girlfriend's mom, she donates to these history things because she enjoys history. She likes it. She has the money. Why not help? That's what a lot of these nodes are doing. It's just because why not? I trust it. I like the system. I want it to work. So how Bitcoin works as far as the mining goes. The first thing is that the transaction gets broadcasted. So a transaction occurs. I send money to Zach, or some Bitcoin to Zach. It gets sent out to these nodes that I was just talking about before. These nodes are the computers on the network. And then those nodes, the computers, independently verify these transactions' validity, meaning does the person have enough Bitcoin in their wallet? Does everything make sense? Is this transaction legit? Yes or no? The nodes are the ones who determine that, the security basically. Then then valid transactions, so these nodes validate these transactions, they put it into a pool of unconfirmed transactions. So these verified transactions are not on the blockchain yet, but they are verified by the nodes. Then the miners come in, and then they decide, they have these group of transactions now, they want to put it onto the blockchain. In order to do that, they had to solve a complex puzzle. It's not like math or anything like that. Basically, they are solving these complex problems to put all those transactions, all those verified transactions onto the blockchain. Once the miners complete that, then they add that block to the blockchain and they get rewarded. For any of the halvings, if I did the whole process we talked about as a miner, I would have gotten 50 Bitcoin. That was before any of the halving. And so there is a limit. There's around 21 million Bitcoin is going to be in supply once they're all mined. And that's going to be the limit. Just like gold, you can't just make up new gold, or it's the same deal like that. So make curb inflation, store of value. The most recent halving, I know a lot of y'all probably heard about it, was just recently April 22nd, 2024. And that is when the reward got cut down to 3.125 Bitcoin. So it happens around every 4 years or every 210,000 blocks mined. And so that's how these miners are making their money, is A, through the transaction, the gas fees, but also mostly from getting rewarded in new Bitcoin. So that's Bitcoin. It's important to know about Bitcoin before even talking about Solana, because it's the first cryptocurrency ever invented. And Solana is an altcoin. It's an alternative to Bitcoin. So it's important to understand the original before talking about all the other ones. So basically any cryptocurrency that isn't Bitcoin is considered an altcoin alternative to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is seen as a store of value or digital gold, whereas altcoins were created to solve problems that Bitcoin's code could not. And so all these altcoins are using what Bitcoin had as far as the blockchain goes, but they're kind of adding to it with different codes. So Ethereum added smart contracts. For those who trade NFTs, you need a smart contract. So Ethereum brought that about. Filecoin, some of y'all probably know I talk about that one a lot. That's basically a decentralized cloud storage system. So they use the blockchain to make a decentralized cloud storage. Side Network they have their blockchain. That way functions, it's just easier for developers to develop decentralized apps. So all these different altcoins are created for a reason. It's to solve a problem that Bitcoin cannot, but it's still using the blockchain. And then there are meme coins, which are a little bit different. So these are not really meant to solve a problem. These are more so just inspired by, as it says here, internet jokes and trends. We have our Dogecoin, Shiba, Pepe, whatever it may be. These are just basically just trends, just like with your meme stocks like GameStop and AMC. When those went to as high as they did, it wasn't because we all believed that theaters were like the next Meta or that like GameStop was doing something amazing. It was a meme. Everyone was getting behind the trend, and they saw that there was money to be made, and so why not? That's how meme coins really work. It's all about just communities, basically. And they are not, unlike Bitcoin, Bitcoin's on the Bitcoin ecosystem. Solana is its own blockchain as well, and has its own currency. A lot of these meme coins don't have their own blockchain. It's very complicated to make a blockchain. These meme coins, they're not trying to create a whole new system like Ethereum, Solana, all these altcoins. They're just trying to make some money off of a meme. And so Dogecoin was originally on Litecoin, which is the blockchain. Now it has its own. Dogecoin's very big now, so it has Doge Chain Network. Shiba Inu's on Ethereum, Pepe's on Ethereum, Bonk is on Solana, Mother, which is one that Austin called out for a 3x like 2 weeks ago or whatever, that's on Solana. And the reason why a lot of these meme coins like Solana is because it is known for having faster transactions and less gas fees than traditional blockchains like Bitcoin. And this is because it utilizes the proof of stake consensus protocol. So Bitcoin uses proof of work consensus protocol. So these miners are putting in work to solve these complex problems, and that's basically them saying, hey, look, I have this huge computer system putting in all this work. Like, I'm not going to mess up this. I'm not going to screw up the system. That's the proof. It's the work is their proof. With Solana, it's stake. So basically, Solana's proof of stake system, they have these validators, which are not miners, these are validators, that use their staked SOL as collateral to be given the right to create these new blocks. Just like these miners do. Instead of working to make these blocks, you're using your staked SOL, these validators are using staked SOL saying, hey, I have $1 million of Solana. Like, that's me saying, hey, this is my proof, like, and I'm gonna put up for collateral to make these blocks. If I try to screw over the system or anything like that, anything fishy, I could lose that money. And so the proof is the staked Solana, and that's why they're able to make these blocks, because they have all the Solana staked, and they're putting it as up for what's the word I'm just looking for? Collateral for all this. And when I say consensus, proof of stake consensus, proof of work consensus, I'm just basically, when it comes to the blockchain, referring to the agreement among network participants about the valid state of the blockchain. So it's basically saying Bitcoin, crypto, for the people, by the people. The consensus is basically saying that everyone involved agrees that these blocks are valid. As opposed to like one entity. They say, hey, this is how it is. I'm saying this is correct. Everyone needs to agree. It's a consensus. So validators are basically just specialized computers, just like with these Bitcoin miners, and they are running validator software. And these are typically connected to the internet 24/7. So these computers are able to download and store the entire Solana blockchain, kind of like the nodes with the Bitcoin nodes. They're able to verify transactions like Bitcoin nodes do. And these validators are also able to propose a new block like the Bitcoin miners. So the miners and the nodes on Bitcoin are kind of combined with Solana, with these validators. And these validators also vote on blocks proposed by other validators, which is nothing like Bitcoin. Solana's a little bit more togetherness. And you earn rewards for contributing to the network, which is kind of like what Bitcoin miners do. So you might be thinking, like, how does that all work? What's a validator? I'm definitely going to be explaining that. So just look at miners. Validators earn rewards for creating new blocks for the blockchain. Once again, it's for the people, by the people, and the people are the ones making these blocks. For validators, unlike with Bitcoin miners, these validators, computers run by people, get rewarded from the transaction fees, just like we were talking about before. This is the main way that they get the rewards. Unlike with Bitcoin, they reward a new Bitcoin. With Solana, they get these transaction fees. The more fees on a block, if I have, let's say, Nikki's transaction to Pookie costs a lot more in fees than my transaction to Shai. If I'm a validator, I want to put that transaction onto this block because I'm going to get more rewards out of that as opposed to the one that between me and Pookie. So validators are basically, like I was saying before, individuals or organizations. They set up and operate these validators, and they are responsible for just maintaining the validator hardware and software and just making sure it runs smoothly. So they're not like going out and like doing a bunch of math problems, whatever. They're the ones that they have these computers. They just have to maintain it basically. And then there's staking services. I think it was Tony said that he does staking. So he might go onto either Phantom Wallet, like the one we just got, or maybe Coinbase. And like it says here, these wallets and platforms, like exchanges, offer staking services. So basically, I can go onto Phantom, and I can stake my Solana. And what happens is Phantom is doing it for me, is now giving my Solana to a validator, and I will now get rewarded. And I'll tell you how that all works. Remember, the validators get rewarded, and now I'm now contributing to these validators, so now I am owed a portion of that reward. So this is basically how it works. So users stake their SOL to validators. So I have Solana on Phantom Wallet. I will use the Phantom Wallet app to stake Solana, and basically it goes to this validator. So when a transaction occurs on the Solana network, let's just say I send some Solana to Zach, it gets broadcasted to the network, and these validators are constantly basically just monitoring all these submitted transactions on the network so that they can validate it. And so these validators check whether the transactions are legitimate, meaning the user is selling or buying has enough Solana. So like if I'm buying some Solana, let's just say, I want to make sure that if I'm buying 50 Solana, that I have enough money to buy the 50 Solana. So if I don't, then that's an invalid transaction. And it also needs to make sure the transactions follow the network rules. If it doesn't, it will not get processed. So if the block gets approved, it gets added to the blockchain and rewards get distributed. So if I am the proposing validator, I brought the block here, I'll get around 60 to 80% of those rewards, of all those like gas fees from all those transactions. And the ones that voted, they also get a percentage of those fees and of those rewards. It basically incentivizes all the validators to work together to participate in Solana, because that's how Solana works when it comes to the proof of stake. There's delegators like myself, Nikki, whoever is staking. I know Tony said that he does stake. We would be the people who are basically staking our soul with the validators. We're the delegators, and we get a portion of the validator's rewards. So let's just say I'm a validator and Austin puts in 10 SOL or whatever. He's basically just giving it as a loan, and now I'm using that as my proof of stake. Well, I need to now give him a percentage of whatever my total Solana I have. If he only gave me like 1% of it, he might get 1% back or whatever it might be. That is all determined based off of each different individual validator, what your actual rewards will be. I want to talk about what happens if I am a validator and I want to mess with the system, because it's all about the system works with everyone working together. So if I put up staked SOL as collateral, it'll be chosen to validate blocks, and I mess something up, it can be either a minor or a major offense. So minor offenses include proposing invalid blocks, missing votes. So Shai turns his computer off for a while, his validator does not get to vote in the system for a long enough time. That could be a minor offense. Going offline for extended times without justification is also a minor offense. Some major offenses are basically double voting, collusion, creating multiple validators. There's a whole bunch of different stuff you can do when it comes to messing up the system. And there's things in place to make sure that doesn't happen. So if the block is not approved, I put all these things together and they all say, hey, no, that's not legit. Well, then all those transactions just go back into the pool for other validators to try to put it together. And that process is super fast. That creation, the whole process that I explained happens within seconds. So it's not like a whole thing that takes minutes, whereas Bitcoin, creating a block takes around 10 minutes. That is all I got for crypto.